Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to my channel and supporting me in this wonderful hobby of ours. I thought it might be fun to show you the fish room from my most common point of view, namely the chair that I'm sitting in now with my dog Elmo. And you see here my nice little footrest. So for many hours I am in this chair, and granted I'm on the computer a lot, but there's no TV up there where you would normally find one in a so-called office or den or man cave. Nope, there's just aquariums. And the first one is the one we're looking at, the one I look at without having to turn my head. Directly in front of me is the heavily planted ADA 60H, which is, as many of you know by now, because I always am reporting this, it's a 22.5 gallon, and the extra 2.5 gallons is in height, so it's got a little bit more height to it than your ordinary 20-gallon aquarium, which is awesome, and it, in a way, resembles like what a flat screen TV would be if it was in this spot on top of the dresser there. That's an old dresser that we've had for some time, and it was its brother. There were two of them on either side of our master bed in California. Well, we sold one on Facebook Marketplace and kept this other one, and it has been converted to a fish tank holder and supply holder in those various drawers. And you see on either side of it the Oase thermo bio, the filter to the left, the canister, and the CO2 to the right, in the indispensable Container Store teak wood boxes. I highly recommend you consider those if you want to outfit your fish room in a stylish but practical and inexpensive way. I mean, I suppose there's cheaper containers for these sorts of things, but honestly, for the look you get and the price point, pretty sweet. Container Store is one of those American companies that I love unabashedly. I'm a big fan, and anyone who has a fish room knows what I'm talking about, right? You can go to the dollar store and get a lot of great stuff there, but if you want to be looking at it all the time, as I am with these two pieces of indispensable tools, equipment, then the teak boxes are awesome, and they kind of fit with the organic jungle vibe of most of my tanks. So first of all, that reflection, watch, I'll show you when let's see, for crying out loud. There, see, when I block the light there, boom, bomb, but there's nothing I can do. Obviously, when I'm looking at this tank, I do not see that. That's a function of the camera. So you're seeing why I love plants that come out of the water as well, because they add to the overall look of what I'm seeing from about 6-8 feet away in my chair. It gives it texture and depth and further dimensionalizes that aquarium. And if it weren't for those pothos leaves between the light and the tank, yeah, I have really awesome wallpaper, but there's just something invigorating to me, inspiring. I love it, I love it, I love it. You gotta do that too. So pimping the boxes from Container Store, and they have all kinds of colors. They're not, and then using immersed and emerged plant growth in your fish room and in your aquariums. So that's what I'm looking at primarily when I'm straight on. If I look to the right, that's a hallway into some of the bedrooms there, and we've got nice wood floors, but this isn't an architectural YouTube channel, it's a fish tube channel. So to my right is the Oase Cinescaper, the kit that I'm always talking about, and inside you see the heavily planted, but trying to be organized natural aquarium there. And even from here, the longfin albino coreodoras just explode and pop with color. But you also see the green neon tetras. Maybe you're gonna get a glimpse of the gold tetras and the red Bexford pencilfish as they come in and out. Now, if I turned out the lights up here and the lamp to my left right here, it's even more vivid, and I reckon I could have done that before I started filming, but I did want to show off these badass fun octopus type lights hanging from the top there, so I did turn them on, and a consequence is, I guess, we're not seeing all the vividness of the fish in there, but you can see the red Rotala atra in the center, that plant, and you can tell even from here the differentiation between the pogostemon octopus to the left, the Lemonphilia ciciflora to the right, and then the carpet where those coreodoras are just digging and rooting around and forever helping me keep it clean. So that's if I just take a slight, really only 20-degree right turn with my head. Now if I turn left, that's the hallway to the kitchen. That door will shut, but we keep it open. And so when people are traversing my room, or my fish room, to get from left to right, it is a thoroughfare. And obviously I've been super super cautious, and I've always told people, especially if they're having a few cocktails at our house, please be careful when you walk through here, because after a flood, the risk of someone stumbling into one of these tanks is real. Now, it hasn't happened yet, thank God, but this is a thoroughfare, not a down in the basement type of fish room. It's not a repurposed guest room. It is part of what probably was a butler's pantry of sorts, and access to a fire escape, and a number of other doors are in here, so I have to be careful with that. And so far it's been no problem, and people love to walk through and stop by. And if I'm sitting in the chair, I don't even get up sometimes. We just have a conversation. I might be looking up that way, I might be looking up this way, but I'm in my comfy chair with Elmo, and we're talking about fish tanks. Now, if I turn left with my head, this is the rack system that I built when I first moved into this house. Up the top is all the fun kitschy aquarium memorabilia. There's the 12-gallon bookshelf tank, super heavily planted, immersed and emerged growth. And in there I've got clown killifish and chili rasboras and countless other creatures. Especially my most thriving Neocaridina population is in that tank. And then, hanging off of this fabulous rack system, so that's number 3 must have. If you're gonna do a fish room, get yourself a quality rack system that has a good weight hold. All that stuff can be determined when you're looking on Amazon or Home Depot or wherever you're gonna purchase it. You can find out the weight loads. Each of these is slated to be able to hold 500 pounds. So that's a crap ton of weight. Whether it's true or not, I'm not putting anywhere near that weight on these shelves. I also put some black plastic from Tap Plastics. You can order custom pieces of different shapes, acrylics and things like that. You see the fun little fall leaves that I put on there. One day those are gonna be botanicals, but for now they're part of the decoration. And that's the 32-gallon SR Aquaristic aquarium rimless with the German black seal. It has my live bears and White Cloud Mountains. That's the second most often I stare at tank, and lately the most often, because I'm always looking at what I can do to tweak and frankly maintain the heavily planted aquascape because it's growing in and out of the aquarium, and I do like some swimming space for all these rambunctious fish. Now they're all rooting around down at the substrate because I moved some plants out. I took some plants out. I'm gonna bring a couple crypts that were in the left-hand corner where you see those platies, swordtails, and mollies hanging out. They're like rooting through looking for bits of dead plant matter or green stuff, or maybe a remnant from an algae wafer. That's the auto top off to the left. That's actually the white cylinder there that's about half full of water. That's actually not for this tank, but for that one up there. So the ATO brings water up into that smaller tank, which has a fair amount of evaporation. It's more rapid than in here. In this one, I don't use an ATO. If any of these tanks go down a few inches, it's not a bad thing. It's actually, some people like that look, so I'm not too worried about it. I do not put the ATO in a must-have. I end up filling the water levels by hand most of the time anyway. Down here is what I call the partial black water tank, and you see the big fat neon tetras in there, and there's also the licorice gouramis, some pygmy coreodoras, and just a wonderful in and out plant growth. And even from here you can see all the roots, all those white strands now making their way into the substrate and creating stalactite, stalagmite effect. Like, is it coming out of the ground going up, or from the top going down? It's just endless threads that the fish can hang out and spawn in. I squirt the baby brine shrimp in there so that the slower licorice gouramis can get in there while these robust neon tetras, which are little piggies, will just start going nuts at any food I put in there. That's the little Landon canister filter, the little stainless canister filter, and it came with those fabulous little stainless steel lily pipes, and it's been working just fine for me. Now at first, all the tannins and leaf litter clogged it up pretty quickly, which sort of sucked, but that's kind of tapered off now, and I'm getting a nice month of a decent, it's not a trickle, it's not a jet, it's just a nice flow for what you want in a what should be in the wild somewhat stagnant puddle, you know, in some cases. So it's okay to have very modest flow, and actually the licorice gouramis don't like flow at all. But you can see the Brazilian pennywort up there, the red tiger lotus to your left, the big petal there, a bunch of crypt parva at the bottom. Now I'm not moving closer to highlight this because the goal of this video was to show what I see when I look, and not kind of get intense and into it like in a fish room tour. I only see the right-hand side, my right-hand side of that little 5-gallon, what I call the El Cheapo Magico planted aquarium, with the mats of Java fern being basically the aquascape, and just a shit ton, excuse my French, pothos growing in and out of that, starting to tangle with the pothos from this tank, and honestly even the pothos dangling down from that tank. And then to the left there is my brine shrimp hatchery. I just emptied it out of a fresh hatch to feed a bunch of my fish this evening. I feed baby brine shrimp to all my tanks. Now with the big fish, I put it in there primarily for the tetras and the live bearers here, you know, and down here for the licorice gouramis that demand live food. And in the tanks that have, like in my other tank outside, which we won't see because I don't see it, it's in that room back there, the dining room. In the big display tank, I throw a bunch of baby brine shrimp live in there, and it creates a feeding response that's like incredible. But I also put in bigger food material for the rainbow fish and the angel fish, even though they just engulf baby brine shrimp, kind of like, you know, when they show on nature shows those whales that just take in enormous amounts of plankton in their 2-ton bodies. Well, you know, a rainbow fish is a little bit like that, just engulfing teeny tiny live morsels of baby brine shrimp, just as they would anything else I put in there. Rainbow fish and these neon tetras are the biggest piggies in my entire fish room. I guess the live bearers are right up there with them. So that's what I see. What I don't see behind me is more supplies and some fun stuff, some old aquarium literature, sort of retro and fun, whether the camera's finding that or not, the Penplex stuff. But I don't see that. I see this panorama, you know, going up and down, across the doorways to the rooms over here. And then lastly, this is the door to the fish room. And I can, if I have it open, which I'm gonna do right now, investigate what's happening in there. Now the light's off. I do have some automatic lights that are censored, so if I walked in there they would all turn on. But that's all the equipment, you know, and that's a whole other video. But I thought it would be fun to show you what I see, right? Sitting in this chair with my sleeping old dog Elmo. Hey Elmo. Hi, boy. Yeah. He's out. Folks, that's all for now. As always, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.